Out here in Colorado, you're defined by your individualism, an American tradition which has stuck around since the time of the pioneers.
Coloradans are independent. We're not always easy to categorize. You have people from all different parts of the country that come to settle here, and you have longtime natives. But all of them share one thing in common, that as a love for the outdoors and a love for this state. To the west, we have 14,000-foot peaks and ski areas that attract tourists from around the world. And on the east, we have the most beautiful grasslands in the United States and farms that have fed generations. But most importantly, we have independence, a strong work ethic, and the values of compromise and getting along together to find common solutions. That's what Cory is. That's where Cory comes from. His values are Colorado values.
Cory Gardner from Yuma, Colorado. Grew up here. I'm a fifth-generation Coloradan. My family moved here in the 1880s from both my mom and dad's side, and of course I grew up here and went to high school here, remained some of my best friends from here, and we take great pride in where we're from. And I can remember driving through the countryside, and you drive by somebody's house, and you know, that's the old Block house, or that's the old Mecklenburg house, and I wonder when that's going to be the old Gardner house, if somebody will ever talk about this that way. But when your family's been here for over 100 years, you know a lot of the history, you care deeply about the people, and you really have a sense of the place. And on the eastern plains of Colorado, where you have this enormous, enormous open landscape, it's coupled that sense of place with a sense of space that you really don't get anywhere else. And it's been a magnificent place to grow up, and I'm blessed because of it.
But you make your own way in Colorado. Cory's family also meant a family business, a farmer's implement dealership, selling parts, tractors, chisels, and various items to customers all around Colorado.
Farmers provide food for everybody, but they wouldn't get very far without implement dealers and other people that help them produce their crops.
Our economy in Yuma, Colorado is based on agriculture. If we have droughts, everyone gets hurt. It doesn't matter which industry you're in. If we have hailstorms, same thing.
It's hard work, struggles. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. And we know, because we're all so intertwined, what we do, that we all depend on each other, and we have to do things together or it just isn't going to work.
This is where Cory understood that in Colorado, the connections we have every day impact the entire community.
I can remember a time when someone came in and they needed something, and Cory was able to find the part that he needed. And this particular farmer, financially, he was struggling, and Cory knew that. And when he had to give them the price of the item that he was buying, it really, really affected Cory. It made him feel really bad that he had to tell this man how much it was going to cost, because he knew the farmer just didn't have it.
That's tough to see. You know, we were able to make it work. We found a way to find a used part to help him get through the day, and everything got back on track for him. But yeah, I'll never forget when my granddad came over and he pulled me aside and he said, "Don't sell that to him. He can't afford that."
Those Colorado values were the foundation for Cory, where everything counts and everyone matters, because we're all in this together. After going off to college and then getting his law degree, Cory became a state representative. Then in 2010, ran for Congress and won. Cory always believed in the future of Colorado. One of his recent projects involves energy.
Energy is one of our huge issues in Colorado, and it's whether you're into the alternative energy sources, the green energy. We're becoming a big green energy state, and yet we still have a lot of natural gas and a lot of oil, and we're one of the big states for that as well.
Yuma County has been a natural gas hotbed for a while. The whole state has gas under it, and we need to use these energy sources that we have available to us.
I remember when natural gas really started to develop on the eastern plains, that we all of a sudden started seeing traffic. Now, eastern plains traffic is a little bit different than Denver, Colorado traffic, but we started to see families for the first time staying in place. So we saw kids graduating from college, and instead of moving away, they were staying in eastern Colorado, they were staying in Weld County, they were getting good paying jobs because of the energy development that was taking place. And so I think it's very important that we recognize this incredible economic opportunity that we have to develop our energy responsibly, to create those good paying jobs, and to keep generations of families on their farms and ranches because they can make income in the energy fields. And so I've been very active in legislation to try to promote our energy independence. For the first time in any of our lifetimes, we could be North American energy secure.
And recently, Cory did just that, passing a liquid natural gas bill to bring jobs home for the next generation of Colorado.
Our system of government is based on compromise. And that's not to say that you can't have firm principles, and Cory Gardner does have firm principles, but he also understands that in order to get things done and to move forward, you need to be able to work with the other side. Sometimes there's common ground, sometimes there's not, but you've got to try. And if you're not trying, then you're giving up the hope of finding a solution that works for everybody.
Colorado is a very diverse state. It is not all just urban city, and it's not all mountains, and it's not all farming and, you know, plains, but it's all of these combined. And Cory has been involved in each one of those, coming from out here in the ag and the rural areas, living in Denver and, you know, working with the state legislature and, you know, working with the federal level. He understands all of those different areas.
Through his career, he's come up with things that help people solve problems and save money.
The kid next door, who always had his heart set in Colorado and knew that this only works by working together and getting things done.
You know, he's always been interested in working with people and trying to solve problems.
He looks at situations and he looks at issues and he looks at what can I do to help, or what resources do I need to help you leverage to get things done. He's not really too much into pointing fingers and placing blame. He's really more into solving the problem. What do we need to do? What do we need to get done? And how do we need to make this happen?